Join me today as Congress passes the big, beautiful bill. Well, it's kind of pretty. The child savings account with the Trump administration, no taps on tips or overtime. Stick around. You just might learn something. Welcome to the Eric T Conversation. I'm Eric T. There's a lot of women out there that are trying to find a perfect man. And here's something that gets overlooked quite a bit. So my younger daughter, she's 21. She has a 2011 car, and the taillights on it continually go out from time to time. Now, this has been a occurring problem for many, many years, and I just change the light bulb every year, and she goes on her way. Well, it's starting to happen more often. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and change the wiring housing for the taillights to see if that does the trick, because it burnt out a little bit of the taillight hole that it plugs into. So I needed to get a new one anyway. So I brought a new taillight housing, and then I bought the wiring that connects to it. And today I put it all together and put whole new wiring together, and hopefully it does a trick. And from what I see now, it works much better than it was working earlier. I checked the voltage that came out of it, and everything seemed to be coming out just fine. But I started thinking about it. Women, they overlook men that can fix stuff. It's really important. A lot of women want a rich guy, makes a lot of money, maybe 6 feet tall, has all this other endearing qualities. But one thing they never, ever mention is a guy that can fix shit. You can have a sense of humor. That's great. And I have one of those. I'm not really tall, but I have a sense of humor. But I can fix stuff. Now, I'm not talking about we'll build you a house from scratch. There are those guys out there that can do that. But a guy that can change the brakes on a car, change the oil, change the taillight housing, maybe change the light switch inside the house so you can have a different type of light switch, or put a dimmer switch in the dining room so you can lower the lights when you're eating dinner. Some of these things that women just don't talk about anymore, which I think are extremely important. So if you're raising a young man and he can't fix anything, you got to get him to fix stuff. My dad taught my brother and I how to fix things. My dad was an electrical engineer, and he worked on cars. He used to pull engines out. He was a guy that just liked to save money. So he taught my brother and I how to do these basic types of things. And back in the day, you used to have this book called the Chilton's Book, and you could read it step by step. There was no YouTube back then. And it would tell you step by step on how to change the heads on a vehicle, spark plugs, every single thing you could possibly need to switch out on a vehicle. And over the years, I've done all those things. As I've gotten older, I don't do as much as I used to because I'm older. Last year, I was trimming the palm trees at my house, and I got these really large palm trees, and they got these spikes on them, and I was trimming them out, and one of them fell on my hand, and I felt something stab me. And I felt it, and I took the gloves off, and I looked in it, and it looked red, but I couldn't see anything, but I knew something was in it. I go to the doctor, I get an x-ray. They don't find anything that's embedded in my hand. So several months go by, and the lump on my hand, right over in this area right here, just starts getting bigger and big. It looked like the size of a grape at one point. And I'm working out, I'm grabbing the barbell, and if it just hit in the right spot, it sent a chilling, sharp pain in my hand. And my workout buddy, Nick, he's like, there's nothing in there, man. I go, man, there's something in my hand. So finally, after about 3.5 months of this pain in my hand and a huge swelling, I went to a walk-in clinic. The doctor took me in the back, cut it open, and sure enough, pulled out a palm tree sharp needle about a 3/4 of an inch long that has been inside my hand for over 3 months. And my body just wasn't getting rid of it, just kept getting infected. So at that point, I said, you know what? I'm done cutting these palm trees. I'll hire some professionals that have all the equipment that do it, because I have a lot of them and they're getting pretty tall, and I'm over it. But I've done them for many years. So some things you just kind of, at some point in your life as you get older, you move on from it. Like last year, I talked about hanging Christmas lights on your house. I don't do that anymore because it's the death-defying feat at my age. I don't do that anymore. They go on the bushes. But you got ladies that are out there looking for a guy. Make sure he can do things. He can back in a trailer. That's an overlooked thing. A guy that knows how to back in a trailer. Because you get a guy that does know how to back in a trailer, and it is the funniest thing you've ever seen. At some point, you just get behind the wheel like, listen, I'll do it. I'll handle it. But ladies, quit looking at the guys that make $500,000 a year. Quit looking at the guys that are 6'1". Quit looking at those guys that are chiseled chest, a chiseled jawline, cool looking beards, pecs out to here. And find a guy that's reliable and that can fix stuff. Because trust me, those guys are underrated and extremely valuable. Well, that's my observation of the day. Now for the conversation. Trump had the president of South Africa in the Oval Office yesterday, and it was classic. The president of South Africa was talking about there's no genocide, they're not killing white farmers, none of this is going on. And if it was going on, he wouldn't have these 3 white golfers with him right there and then. So Trump's like, okay, cool. Dim the lights, and just proceeded to play a video montage of South African people in their government shouting death to the white people, showing video of crosses that are symbolistic of white farmers that had been murdered in that country. And then one of the golfers decided to say, yeah, my father is a successful man, but he was a part-time farmer at one time. A lot of his friends have been taken out during this genocidal maniac stuff going on in South Africa. Now, the president of South Africa basically came over there just like Zelensky and was asking for a handout, like they all do. And he said, things will be better if we get money from the United States government. Well, Trump's not having any of that. So he called him on his bluff, and he played all the video and had all the receipts for what's going on in South Africa. And those are the people that are escaping persecution, whether they're white, black, yellow, green, doesn't matter. Those are the people that need to come to the United States. Because when those people come to the United States, they appreciate the freedoms that they receive when they get here. And they start assimilating to the American way of life. When you talk about letting the immigrants and illegals in here, there's a certain type of them that we need here. And it doesn't matter what color. It matters the ones that are in harm's way, that are actually having to escape persecution from their governments. And those people are more than welcome in the United States. And anybody saying otherwise needs their head examined. Because this country is the land of the free, home of the brave. And we take in those people that are less fortunate than we are, that are escaping travesties that are happening in their country. And right now, South Africa is kind of getting on fire. The big, beautiful bill has passed the House. I think 215 to 212 is very close. 2 Republican House members, one fell asleep, and I think one died. I think so. One fell asleep. That's inexcusable. You don't get there to vote on that. You fall asleep. But it passed. A couple things that are in it. There's no tax on tips. There's no tax on overtime pay. The 2017 Trump taxes are now going to be made permanent. There's a $4,000 tax benefit for seniors that are 65 and older that will receive Social Security. That's in the bill as well. If you buy a car made here in the United States, I think there's a certain percentage of the vehicle had to be made here in the United States. I could be wrong. I think it's about 70% of that vehicle. If it's made here in the United States, you get a tax break on the interest that you pay on it. I think it's interest free or something like that. There's a lot of provisions. A lot of these things are till 2028, and then it has to be renewed like everything else. So I'm a little upset with the fact that they just can't flat out just get rid of it. They can't do it. And I talked about that the other day. They just can't get rid of it and let it be gone. And so some people are arguing about the tax on tips. The IRS specifies the tax on tips are very clear. It's not cash tips. It's credit card charges, any kind of electronic fund transfer, all those tips that are included on a check that you get at a restaurant or somewhere else that you might be tipping somebody on. Yes, it's not just cash tips. It is tips that are also paid with a credit card, paid through electronic funding and all of that stuff. So don't let people on the left try to make you think that it's only cash tips. It's not only cash tips. It's tips, period. And you can look up irs.gov and you can see what the actual tax code and what the IRS considers taxable wages for tips. And all of those things are itemized and they are included. So don't let them fool you. You are not charged taxes on any tips you get, whether it's credit card or not. The Senate just passed the Genesis Act, which is the stablecoin bill, which is going to make cryptocurrencies go through the roof. Once that gets solidified through Congress and the president signs it, this is the way the government is going to transfer funds, period. They're going to be going back and forth electronic funding, and they're going to be using stable coins to do that. And that's great because now it's a very cheap cost, takes seconds to clear, and you can send it all throughout the world, even areas that don't have banks, are able to get funding from the United States government. So that's a good thing, people. Start waking up and start realizing cryptocurrencies is going to be the future. Not a CBDC, a stablecoin. It's just for the payment system. It's not when you go to the store, it's for payments. So don't get it twisted. And recently, the very first self-deporting immigrants just landed in Colombia and Honduras. They self-deported. They went on the app, they put their information in, they got a free plane ticket, and they got a $1,000 voucher to get out of the country. There are incentives that are working to get some of these illegals out of our country, and people like cash. So I think it was the amount of about 68 illegals that had been sent back to Colombia and Honduras. That's just a start. It costs our government $68,000 to get rid of them. It costs a lot more money when they stay here and they soak up all of our benefits, taking Social Security from people that have paid into the system. Because remember, illegals don't pay into the system. It's all these elderly people that are trying to receive Social Security. And we start getting all these fraudulent expenditures in there. That's going to be great. And just like the beautiful bill that just passed. Look, it's a big bill. It's really not that beautiful. I think it's pretty, but it's not beautiful. A lot of things that are in there are some of these provisions for Medicaid and cutting some spending. They're going to be cutting waste and fraud, people. They are not cutting Medicaid. It's just waste and fraud. There are people on there that are receiving it that don't deserve to receive it. And some of the stipulations that they're going to have on that is that you're going to have to be required to get a job, some type of employment to collect these type of benefits. And there is nothing wrong with that. I'm sure somewhere in there, I've been reading the bill. I haven't finished reading it. It's quite long. Takes a little while to read it, and I got other things going on. But I'm about a quarter of the way through it, and on Friday, I'll probably do another brief video and talk about the entire bill and what everything that's in it. But right now, they are just going to cut waste and fraud out of it because there are people that are getting it that don't deserve it. And once we get those people off the books, some of that money that we get paid through Social Security is going to go up. So a lot of great things are happening. Things are moving very quickly now, like a snowball. So hopefully Congress gets the bill done like they wanted to. It goes to the Senate. They vote on it. They're going to hack it to shreds, I'm sure. It's going to get finalized, and hopefully in a couple of weeks, maybe a week or two, it gets sent to the president's desk. He signs it, and everybody in the middle class starts getting a huge relief on tax benefits, income. One cool thing about the new big, beautiful, pretty bill is that they're going to have a new child savings account. So every kid that's born in America that's going to have a automatic $1,000 put into some type of savings account. And every year, uncles, aunts, whoever is allowed to put up to $5,000 into that savings account that the government has for that newborn child. And at 18, I think, or 21, they can take the money out, use it for whatever they want. And then I think at the age of 30, they can use it. It accumulates at a certain percentage every year. And by the age of 30, that child or whoever should have about $127,000. I'm not sure if it's 21 or 30. I got to look at that again. But they're going to have quite a bit amount of money that's given to them free if people donate into that money. That's a cool thing as well. That's an incentive to have children because we need babies, people. We need babies. Well, that's it for today. It's a nice short one. I just want to get out here and talk about a few things. But join me next time for a little chit chat, some observation, and some good old fashioned conversation. Thanks.